Good morning. This is VirtualPBX-admin training. This training will last about 30 to 40 minutes, mostly depending on load times. We do record these trainings, so if you can't stay for the whole time, that's fine. You can always come back later and finish watching at your convenience. This also allows you to share the training with other staff members who need to be system admins. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. Here you see our dash login page, which is at dash.virtualpbx.com. To get logged in, we need 3 pieces of information. The first is your email address. That should be in all lowercase letters. Your password, which is case sensitive, and then your account name. Then you would click the sign in bar. If that doesn't work, you would click on the forgot your info link just above that sign in bar. Still need that email address. And then we only need one of the 2 following pieces of information. Typically the account name is the easiest, but you could also use an account phone number. Click on reset password, and that will send you an email. Follow the instructions in the email to change your password. After you change your password, the system will log you back out, take you back here. You have the option to click on remember me, and then enter your new password, then click on remember me. And then you'll be taken to the dashboard page, which can take a little bit to load. At the top of the page, you will see your name, and if you click on that, it's going to open up a big pop-up window. It starts you off on your user account page, so if you just changed your password, you just saw this page, because that's where you would go to change your password. But as system admins over here on the left, you have access to the account level settings. Mostly people change the time zone language here. System admins can also manage add-ons. This includes things like text forwarding, multiple auto attendance, advanced reporting, dynamic caller ID. These will increase your bill. There'll be a pop-up letting you know what that amount is per month. You have to confirm that, and then the feature will be enabled. Then we have the billing portal. And when you click on Access Customer Portal, this will take you to open up a new tab. It's going to ask you for your email address, and then you can get logged in. That's where you would go to see your invoices or update your payment information. And then any admin over here on the left can click on Cancel Account. There'll be a red button at the bottom right that you can click on here. There'll be a couple questions for you to fill out. Just fill out the form, and this will cancel your account at the end of the current billing cycle, where after which your final bill will be processed and you'll be notified when the account is closed. When you're done, anywhere on these sections here, just click close towards the top right. You're back here on the dashboard. To the right of your name, you have D&D. That stands for Do Not Disturb. Mine is currently active, meaning my user is not accepting calls. Right, calls to my user go into voicemail. If I clicked here again, it would then deactivate, so then I would accept calls normally. Little phone icon here. This opens up a new tab. It takes you to webphone.virtualpbx.net. If you have a web phone device on your user, which if you just signed up with us, your admin user has one of these, you can use your dash log information on the page there to log into the web phone. This allows you to use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari on a computer to make and receive calls. This does count as a VoIP device, so if you don't intend to use it, like you have your own VoIP phones already, for example, then you'd want to remove that device. The little speech bubble icon here, when you click on this, this will open up a new tab and take you to virtualtext.app, and that is where you would go to make use of the virtual text feature. It has its own login information, but once you get logged in, you can use your numbers to send and receive text messages. Little question mark icon here. This opens up a chat window at the bottom right of your browser window. This lets you speak to our support team so they can help you with whatever feature you might be working on. Menu icon here. This gets you to other dash features, which we'll be covering towards the end of the training. And then the arrow icon to the right is to log out of your dashboard. Skipping down here towards the middle, we have total users. I have 6. That means I have 6 people on my account who are making and receiving calls. Then I have total devices, 12, and a breakdown. The ones to really pay attention to are these 3 here: the web phone, the soft phone, and the SIP phone. These are all kinds of VoIP phones. On some of our plans, for instance, you have an included VoIP phone as part of your monthly plan price. If you go over that, you're probably paying an overage per phone. Then down here, I have total numbers, 13, and 2 breakdowns. First is assigned numbers and spare numbers, and that just means assigned means it's in use, right? It's going someplace on my system. Spare, not currently in use. I just haven't decided where I want to put it yet. Then I have USDID and US toll-free. US toll-free, US Canada toll-free, 800-888, all the way down through 833. USDID is a local number, meaning someplace that's, Dallas, Texas, New York, what have you. Conference bridges, I have 3. That means I've enabled the conference feature on 3 of my users so they can host or moderate a conference. Back up here towards the top, my main number block. These 3 numbers are all behaving the same way. They're going to the same part of my system. They're all going to be playing the same main greeting. The conference room number, you have multiple conference room numbers if you want. They all go to the same set of conference rooms where you'll be prompted to enter the conference room number and PIN number. The fax box number, this is your inbound fax number. You can only have the one main fax box number, but this allows you to edit that fax box to allow for outbound faxing if you want to make use of that. The company directory, there's 2 links here. The CSV just downloads that kind of file. You use your favorite spreadsheet program, and it's going to list your users on the account with their names, their email addresses, their extension numbers, and their devices. The soft phone link here is for use with the desktop or VirtualPBX soft phone app. So if you're using our app on a Mac or Windows PC, you could download this file and then upload it to your soft phone on your computer. And in your contact list, you'll see the names of your other users who are making use of the VirtualPBX soft phone. And you'll be able to see the status of their VirtualPBX soft phones, right, if they're on a call or not. VirtualPBX Store. This link opens up a new tab. It takes you to store.virtualpbx.com. And that's where you can order things like headsets or VoIP phones, etc. The account realm. Every account has its own account realm. This is used in a couple things. The first is it's one of the 3 pieces of information you need to program or provision a third-party soft phone. You also need this for outbound faxing, which we'll be getting to later. All right, now we're going to go back up here to this blue bar, caller ID. When you click here, this pull down will show your main numbers on the account. Any number, whichever number you select, that becomes the default number for your account. For instance, your VoIP phones would use this to make outbound calls. That'd be their outbound caller ID, and you do need that outbound caller ID number set so those VoIP phones can make outbound calls. And then you would click on Save Changes. Hold music. This allows you to upload a media file to Dash. That's be a .wav or .mp3 file up to 1 megabyte in size. You would just click Upload, find that media file on your account by clicking Browse, click the up arrow icon, and then Save Changes. This hold music file plays only after calls reach one of your users and they've pressed hold on their VoIP phone. That's when it plays. Hours is part of main number, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. First, we're going to go over here on the left and click on Users. This is your user page. This shows your users on the account. The people with the blue suit icon, these are your system admins. Right, so they can make all the changes we are talking about today. The gray people icon, or the gray person icon, that's a standard user. So they can only basically access their voicemail and a couple other things. Up here at the top, you can click on Add User. You would fill out this form to create a new user. The main thing to know is that the email address used for login needs to be unique for each user. You cannot reuse email addresses. The system by default will create a voicemail box for the user. Basically, that saves you a step. If you want them to be in the user directory, you can click here. You can always change this later. You have the option to send emails to an alternate address. So by default, the system will use the email address used for login to communicate with your staff. Voicemail notifications, password resets. If you want those emails to go to a different address, click on the box here, enter that different email address in the box provided, and this is also something you can change at any time. And then lastly, you have the option to send credentials to the user, which I do recommend doing. And what that means is once you click on these bottom buttons here, that user sent an email saying, welcome them to Dash, and it has their login information. Once the user is created, you can click on their name and you can change the name, like if you had a typo when you were typing. You can click on change credentials to change their email address or password. You can change the PIN number for their voicemail box PIN number. Here's the option to send emails to an alternate address, and here's the option to be in the user directory. This pull down over here on the right lets you change a user into an admin or vice versa. The little clock icon, this lets you change the time zone for the user so it's appropriate to their time zone, right? So that way their voicemail timestamps are correct for them. The flag icon, this allows you to change the display language for these pages for the user. You have English, French, German, or Russian. Ringing timeout defaults to 20 seconds, which is plenty of time to send calls to a VoIP phone or a landline. If you have a user using a cell phone, you'd probably want to increase that to 30 seconds or more. Users can have their own phone numbers. You can click on add from spare or by number to add a new number to the account. In the show notes, you can look at the support page link there and do a search for adding a phone number. That will give you the step-by-step instructions on how to do so. Phone numbers on a user do not have hours of operation or holidays or anything of that nature. It's available 24/7. The device box for the user, we do recommend adding devices directly to the user, as that can save you a little bit of a hassle. To add a new device, you would click on new device. I'm just going to cover soft phone here. Anytime you add a soft phone or a web phone, you're going to get this warning message. Please make sure you read it at least once. And then click on close. And then a large box will show up here. This defaults to using a third-party soft phone, meaning you're using someone else's soft phone app. If you do so, you just give it a name. You're going to copy and paste the SIP username, copy and paste the SIP password, and the account realm. Those are the three pieces of information you need to program or provision the third-party soft phone. Now, if you want to use a VirtualPBX soft phone, one, you need to start here on the user page. But down here, where it's below the view configuration guide, it says use third-party application. If you click on that, it'll flip it. And so now it says use VirtualPBX application. Now you just need to give it a name, click on create device, and then click on save changes. Once you click on save changes, the user gets an email saying their VirtualPBX soft phone is ready. And we'll have their login information, right? So the username and password to log in, as well as download links so they can download the app to their appropriate device. In terms of adding other devices, again, you can use that support page link in the show notes. You can also look at the auto provisioning phones document, which is for SIP phones. And then we have user features. Caller ID number, this is for users with their own phone number. If you enable this, that means you can select the phone number on a user to be their outbound caller ID for their VoIP phones. Voicemail box, This is what you created with the user. Voicemail boxes can hold up to 100 messages, and after that, they are full and will not accept any more. Now, by default, you have two ways to check messages. One is via over the phone. The other is via your user portal, which we'll be covering later. Follow me. This is for users with multiple devices. So this user has 3 devices. By default, when calls come to this user, all 3 devices ring at the same time. If they don't want that, then as a system admin, you'd come here, you would enable this feature, and then you would choose which devices you want to make use of. Right? You have the do not ring. You would uncheck them, and then click and drag these sliders here to give them a ring time. Now, this setup defaults to a total ring time of 120 seconds, which is probably a little long. But in this last box here, you can edit that to adjust, right? And the times of these did not increase, it's just the percentage. I can also click distribute. So now I'm equalizing that 60 seconds between these 2 devices. If I want to change the order of the devices, I can click and drag, and then click distribute again. And then I would click on save changes. One thing to know about the follow me feature here is that if this user is part of a group, which we'll be talking about in just a little bit, calls from the group ignore the follow me settings. So calls from the group would ring all 3 of this user's devices at the same time. Fax box, this allows you to create a fax box for the user so they can send and or receive faxes. If you want them to be able to do both, you're going to want to assign a phone number to that fax box. If you sign only an extension number, they'll only be able to receive faxes. Conference bridge, this allows a user to host or moderate a conference. Call forwarding, this allows for call forwarding. If you have only VoIP phones on the user, then as a system admin, you can come in here and set up failover mode. So if their VoIP phone goes offline, you can automatically forward to a phone number you designate. Otherwise, your users can enable call forwarding on their own. They can either do it via the user portal or directly from their VoIP phone. Customized call recording. This allows you to record inbound and outbound calls for the user. Music on hold. This allows you to upload custom hold music specifically for this user. .wave, .mp3, up to 1 megabyte. Do not disturb. Allows you to put a user on do not disturb or take them off do not disturb. And then hot desking is a VoIP phone feature. This allows users to log into the VoIP phone that they're sitting at to receive calls. Right? So in a shared office environment, for example. All right, next up we're going to groups, sometimes referred to as hunt groups or ring groups, or even just as departments. Up here at the top, you would click on add group. You need to give it a name, and then you need to give it an extension number. After that, you would click and drag your staff members that you want to be in the group, and then you would click on create group. Once a group is created, you can always click on the name. You can change the name if you need to. You also have group call attempts. This is how many times the system will offer an inbound call to the members of the group. There's little arrows at the far right where you can increase or decrease the amount. You also have the option to delete a group if you no longer need it. Otherwise, click on Save Changes. The members box for the group shows who you have assigned to the group and how you're offering calls to them. In this case, this is an example of blast ringing or ring all. So everyone's phone rings at the same time. Whoever picks up first gets the call. Just like under follow me, up here is your total ring time. It defaults to 2 minutes. You can change that if you need to. If you need to add more users, right, like say your company grew, right, you would click here at the bottom and you can click on the box for who you want to be part of the group. You can also remove members if they're no longer part of this particular team. Also, like under follow me, you can click distribute. Now, when you have it set up this way, calls always go in this order. Right? So even if Jeanette is already on a call and a call comes into the group, she will hear a call waiting beep on her phone, but that person calling in is going to wait on hold for 30 seconds before it rolls to David, right? The second person in the group. Likewise, if both Jeanette and David are on a call comes to the group, that third caller is going to be waiting a minute before it rings to Dante, before someone can pick up. Now, as a system admin, if you're getting that kind of call volume, you can adjust these sliders, so that these later users aren't waiting as long before their phone starts ringing. Likewise, just like Follow Me, you can click and drag the users to change the order. So like, say Jeanette has a project that she needs to focus on, I can put her to the bottom and I can click distribute. So now she's at the end of the range. And then click on Save Changes when you're done. Just like users, groups can have their own phone number. And also, just like users, this phone number does not have hours of operation, right? Available 24/7. Group features. Ringback is essentially the hold music file for the group. It will play until one of your staff members picks up. So you would, up here, you would click to enable, upload a .wav or MP3 file up to 1 megabyte in size. Please note that this system will not loop the file for you. So let's say you have a ring time of 2 minutes. If you upload a file that only plays for 30 seconds, well, after 30 seconds, the file doesn't loop. Right? So you want to make sure that the file you upload matches or exceeds the total ring time you have set for the group. Next action. This is if no one in your group picks up, what do you want the system to do with the caller? Right? So you want to click to enable, and this pull down lets you select a location on your system. Typically a user or another group or voicemail box are the most common things people pick. Allow call forward. If you enable this, that means your users can make use of call forwarding. Pretty straightforward. And then caller ID prepend, excuse me. This is for VoIP phone users. This allows you to put either text or numbers in front of the caller ID that shows up on your staff members' VoIP phones. So customer Mary calls in, rings to Bob's Yealink phone. On Bob's Yealink's phone's display, he would see the word support and then customer Mary's phone number. All right, so it lets him know what kind of call he's getting about, and then also the number of the person who's calling in. All right, so now that we have users with devices and groups, we can go to main number. Main company number, these are your default numbers that customers dialing to reach you. You can either buy new numbers, right, which is adding a new number to the account, or add from spare, which are using numbers you already have. Oh, any place there's a phone number, there's a little gear icon here. You can update the caller ID, E911, or prepend information. The E911 is an address, so you can have different phone numbers have different addresses for the purposes of 911 only. Office hour strategy, you have 24-hour open office or custom office hours. Each day of the week that you're open, just put a check mark in front of that day and set your open hours in 24-hour or military time. You also have the option down here to say you're closed for lunch. If you put a check mark there, just set your lunch hour in 24-hour or military time, and then click on Save Changes. Office holidays, if you're closed for holidays, put a check mark here, and then click on Add Holiday on here to the right. You have single day, date range, or advanced. Each one of these creates a new row, and you would fill out the row, right? So Christmas Day, then choose the month and date, Save Changes. If you need to remove a holiday, click on the little trash icon here on the right, and then click on Save Changes. Incoming call handling, this is how the system is handling calls that are coming into your main number during your open hours. You have after hours and holidays. First option here is the calls come in, go to your virtual receptionist. This is a link that you can click on. The main menu here is on the left is what your customers press to navigate through your phone system. you would click on Add Route to give yourself another menu option. The first pull down here, you have 0 through 9, the star key, and the default action. And the second pull down are locations on your system. Users, groups, voicemail boxes, devices, etc. If you don't need a menu option anymore, you would just click on the X to the right. Over here on the right-hand side, we have the greeting options. Right, your greetings, where you say thank you for calling, and then you want to give instructions. Right? Press 1 for sales, 2 for support, that sort of thing. Text-to-speech, type in what you want the system to say. It will read it back in a computerized or robotic voice. There's no charge for that. The system, unfortunately, names this file for you. So if you ever use a text-to-speech greeting, as soon as you're done, over on the left-hand side, click on greetings, find that text-to-speech greeting. In this case, that's going to be main open hours menu TTS for text-to-speech, and change the name. Just so that way you don't have like 5 of them displaying. Upload your own file. You can upload a .wav or MP3 file up to 1 megabyte in size. Choose from an existing recording. This pull down will show all your media files on the account: voicemail, greetings, main greetings, ringback files, etc. That's why you want to use names that are easy to recognize. Record over the phone. By default, the system wants you to use a VoIP phone on the account. That's what it means by a phone registered to the account. If you don't have a VoIP phone handy, or you don't want to use it, under settings, you would come down here to allow outside recording, turn that on. This allows you to call in from any phone, landline, cell phone, etc. And then you call it to your main number. And when you hear the main greeting, you're going to enter in this PIN number. This PIN number is specific to this time of day on this account, right? So it only works during my open hours. If I called on a Saturday, it wouldn't work. But then you'll be prompted to record over given instructions on how to record over the phone. And just keep in mind that by doing so, you're overriding the existing main greeting, right? So the main greeting you just heard when you hit the PIN number, you're changing that file. The file name will stay the same. Professional recording services, when you click order here, this will take you or open a new tab and take you to Snap Recordings, which is a separate company. And you can choose from like 100 voice actors and actresses. They bill you directly, email you the completed file, so then you would come up here to upload your own file. Under settings, number of retries on missed dials, how many times your inbound caller can make a mistake. So when I have a 1 entered here, that means my inbound caller can make 2 total attempts to get through my greeting and my main menu. Dialing timeout is how much time the system listens for an additional button press before it assumes they are done. Right? So for someone entering a multi-digit extension, allow dialing extensions. By default, this is on. Oops. And that just means if the inbound caller enters a valid extension number, the system will transfer the call. Right? If I turned it off, that means they can only press my menu options. Suppress the playing of invalid entry. When the last attempt is made by the caller and it's wrong, the system will play a message saying, "We did not recognize your entry." If there's no default action in place, the system then says goodbye and ends the call. Right? Now, if I put a default action back in place, it would say, "We don't recognize your entry," and then say transferring your call. In that situation, you probably want to turn that suppression on, so that way, after that last attempt, the system says transferring your call. Right? It's a little less jarring for your customers. All right, so any changes you make to your main menu, your greetings, or your settings, you need to come down here and click Save. And then you need to click Save Changes here under Incoming Call Handling. Now for after hours, I chose the second option. This is the live operator answer option. And what that means is in this first pull down, I select a location on my system, a user, a group, what have you, or a device. The system tries to ring to that location first, If they're not able to pick up, then the caller is sent to the virtual receptionist, and this is my after hours virtual receptionist. So I have different menu options and a different greeting, possibly even different settings. And then for holidays, I chose this third option here. The first pull down are things on your system: users, groups, media files, devices, etc. Right? So it tries to ring to that location first. In the case of a media file, it plays a media file. And then if no one answers, it goes to the voicemail box I designated. Now, up here in this first pull down, the last like special option is skip the voicemail. So I don't even bother trying to ring anybody or play any kind of media file. I'm like, nope, just send it to the voicemail box. Main conference number, you have multiple conference room numbers if you want. And once you do, you can also choose to have a text-to-speech greeting here. But even without this, the system would still say, welcome to the conference, and then prompt them to enter in a PIN number, or enter the conference room number and PIN number, excuse me. The main fax box number, you can have one. Once you do, you can then edit the fax box. Inbound notification email, in the box to the right, you enter in an email address, and anytime a fax comes in, an email is sent to this address. In the body of the email will be like the date and time, information, and phone numbers involved. And then there will be a PDF attachment. Now, if someone dials your fax box number and then hangs up, this address still gets sent a message saying that there was a failed inbound fax attempt. So please be aware of that. Email permissions, in the box to the right, you can enter in an email address, or you can, as is shown here, you can enter in a company email domain. And that means anyone at VirtualPBX can send a fax out on this account, even if they're not a user on the account. To do so, they would create an email from the virtualpbx.com email address. In the to field, they put the destination phone number. So +1, area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses. They put the @ symbol, and then the account realm, right? So they would need to know the account realm to do this. Then they need to attach a PDF or TIFF file to the email, and they would click send. Nothing they type in the subject line of the email or in the body of the email is getting transmitted as part of the fax. The system is only sending the PDF attachment or TIFF file attachment. Only one attachment per email. So if you need to have a cover letter or a tax cover sheet, you're going to want to make sure you include that as part of your PDF attachment. Also make sure you don't have any signature files stuck on your email automatically. Also, only one recipient email address per fax. Right. Auto attendance is a plan-specific or add-on feature. This allows you to create additional menus. So up here at the top, you would click on Add Attendant, give it a name, give it an extension number, click on Create Attendant. By default, when you create a new attendant, it starts off as unavailable in main menu, meaning you can set it up as a separate way into your system, right? You don't have to go through your main numbers. Now, if I want it to be a menu option, I would just click on this toggle. So now it can be a menu option off of my virtual receptionist. It can even be a next action location for my groups. Auto attendants can have their own phone numbers, so that way they can be that separate entry point on the system. You can buy numbers or add from spare. You have a little wrench icon here under settings. And you see here, I have open hours, after hours, and holidays. This will match what you set up under your main number. But in all cases, they're going to a virtual receptionist. So you would set up menu options and a greeting for them. Devices shows your devices on the account. A red device is unregistered, so calls are not being sent to it, i.e., it could be it's not plugged in, or in the case of like a web phone or soft phone, the person hasn't logged into it. Green devices means we can send calls to them. You can add devices directly to this page. You can't assign them anywhere. In terms of soft phones, right, you can add a third-party soft phone here. You cannot add the VirtualPBX soft phone on this page. Got a little wrench icon here under Edit, and you can do this on any device, but for the VoIP phones, if we go to Advanced, you can set up the emergency caller ID. So any phone number that you've assigned an address to, you can then associate to a particular VoIP phone. So if they ever have to call 911, the proper address gets sent to emergency services instead of your corporate headquarters. Greetings tab shows all your media files on the account. We've got the name of the file. Source, TTS, text-to-speech. Upload means the file was uploaded. Recording means it was recorded over the phone. You have a little play icon here, so you can play back the greeting directly in your browser to see if it's still relevant. You can download the file if you want to keep, which I recommend for your main greeting, so you have a backup copy of that, especially if you recorded over the phone or did text-to-speech. And then you have the little wrench icon here under Edit. And so you see, like this one here, kind of, right? You know it's uploaded, but it's a bunch of numbers. That doesn't help you identify it. So you could say, 1002, right? So that way I know, oh, it's the voicemail greeting for extension with the extension 1002. And then I would click on Save Changes. Oh, you can click Add to upload files directly here. Just give it a name, click Browse to find a .wav or MP3 file, and then click Create Greeting. You're not going to be able to assign it anywhere, but it's now available for you to pick from a pull down later. Numbers. This takes you to your numbers in use page, shows you where your numbers are assigned. You have a little gear icon here for each number. Spare number, these are numbers you're not using. If you don't want them on your account anymore, click on the checkbox in front of it, and then click on Delete, and then confirm the deletion. That removes the number from the account. You also have the option to port a number, which is just moving a phone number from one carrier to another. We click on New Port Request, give it a name, choose local toll-free, click Next, and follow the on-screen instructions. You can use that support page link and do a search for porting a number. That will give you all the steps and show you all the screenshots you're going through. Voicemail boxes shows all the voicemail boxes account, or on the account, excuse me. Anything that has an entry under the user was created with the user itself, but you can create your own voicemail boxes here. For instance, like a general voicemail box, directions voicemail box, whatever. Give it a name, a voicemail box number, and PIN number. Click on Create a Voicemail Box. You can click Edit or the wrench icon here next to any voicemail box. The voicemail box number is not the same as an extension number. So if I entered 3333 from my virtual receptionist, I'm not getting to this voicemail box. Now, if I make it a menu option off of my voicemail box or off of my virtual receptionist, then I can get here. But you would use the voicemail box number and PIN number to access the voicemail box over the phone, right? If you want to check messages or change its greeting, etc. Under Advanced, you have Greeting Media, where you can upload a .wav or MP3 file up to 1 megabyte in size, or you can use a pull down to see one of the other files that you have on the account and use that instead. The temporary is for the out of office or vacation message. If you have something selected in temporary and in media, only the temporary file plays. The media file will not play again until you set temporary back to none. Recipients, your user voicemail boxes have a built-in recipient, right, the email address used for login. But any voicemail box, you can come here, click Add New Recipient, and add additional email addresses. Keep clicking Add until you're done, and once you are done, click on Save Changes. Options, once you have a media file in place and recipients, go ahead and click on Already Set Up, so that way people won't accidentally change the voicemail greeting on accident, at least over the phone. And then you'd want to come down here and make sure you've got the attached messages to email, which just means it's attaching the MP3 file. If you have a voicemail box that you don't want to get full, like in this case, this is my support voicemail box, I would click on the option here to delete after notification. So that way, after that email is sent out, the system deletes that voicemail message from the voicemail box, so it never gets full. Virtual extensions, this is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to add additional extension numbers without adding a full user. These are limited, right? They can have one device. They cannot make use of the VirtualPBX softphone because there's no email address associated with them to send the credentials to. And because they're not users, you can't add them to a group, for instance. But since they're extensions, they can be reached via the virtual receptionist or transferred to. Call logs, this shows your call history on the account. You have today, this week, you can go back this month, and custom. Custom lets you go back up to a year. You can download each of these. It's just a CSV file. So if you're good with spreadsheets, you'll be able to get some more information about the calls that are coming in. A green arrow to the right is a call coming into the system. And most of these are pretty short, so they're probably not reaching a device. But when you click on a call, it will expand out and will show you the devices that it went to. Now, there's a little, if you ever see a yellow arrow to the left, that's a call that's going out from the system, right? So an outbound call. Little fire extinguisher icon here. This will create an email for you pre-addressed to support@virtualpbx.com. So it goes to our support team. It's going to have the technical details already in the email. You're going to want to type in context about why you're sending it into the customer, to our support team, and so they can investigate for you. Feature codes, these are ways for your VoIP phone users to access Dash features directly from their VoIP phones. They're obviously listed here in the support page. You can do a search for feature codes or the phone commands cheat sheet, which has this information as well as the context help. That's all the dashboard. Call center, this is part of the contact center product, which is our call queues. In the show notes, you can look at the ACD QUEUES Pro demo to see what they're about. They're essentially an advanced version of groups. Dynamic caller ID, plan-specific feature or add-on. This allows you to create rules to change your outbound caller ID for your VoIP phones to other phone numbers you have on your account. Again, use that support page link to get the specific instructions. Faxes, this is your fax manager. This lets you get to any fax box on the account so you can see the fax history, both for inbound and for outbound. If you see anything in the email to fax log, that would be the system had a problem with the request. Usually someone used like their personal email address, or they used the wrong file type or forgot to add an attachment. Reports, this opens up a new tab, takes you to reports.virtualpbx.com, which has its own login information. In the show notes, you can look at the advanced reporting demo. Voicemails, this is your voicemail box manager. This allows you as an admin to get to any voicemail box on the account, i.e. you're told something, voicemail box is full, so you can come in here and manage. Put a check mark in front, and you can either change its status or even move it to a different voicemail box. On the right, you can listen to it or download the message. Integration AWS is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to your own AWS account. Typically, this is used for customers who are wanting to store their call recordings or even their faxes or even their voicemail messages. Messaging, this is for use with anything to do with SMS. Virtual text, if you're making use of inbound and outbound texting. Text forward is for accepting inbound text messages and then forwarding to like an email address or a webhook. This is not for two-way text communication. And then text numbers is letting you verify other numbers for use for texting. Blacklist is a way to create a list of phone numbers that you're blocking from reaching your staff members. Basically, inbound callers would get a busy tone. In the show notes, you're going to want to look at the support page link to get a full description on how to do so. Call recording. Since this account is set up with AWS, it's going to show me what's over at AWS. I can change my start date here, and then I can see the recordings here. If you're not using AWS, you would have the call recording manager, which would open a new tab, take you to recordings.virtualpbx.com. That page requires you to log in using your login information, and you would see your call recordings there. Number manager, this will take you back to your spare number page. User portal, every user has access to their own portal. Starts you off on your voicemail tab, so you can play back, you can download, and then here, again, users can change the status of their voicemail messages. Call history, you can see your call history and you can change the date range. Fax tab only works for users that have their own fax box, but they can see their fax history. Contact list lets you see everything on the Dash account, so to make it easy for you to transfer, as well as see feature codes. Conference tab is for users that have the conference feature enabled, and they would update their PIN numbers here. The moderator PIN and participant PIN numbers should be different. And then settings and devices. Right here is where your staff members can make use of call forwarding. They just put a check mark here, enter +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses, and then they are called, and then click on save, and then they're call forwarding. Come back later, uncheck it, click save again, and now they're not. Webhooks is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to other software. If you look in the show notes, there's the introduction to Zapier webinar, which covers some of webhooks. It's basically some level of programming. You can also go to developer.virtualpbx.com to see sample code of what we have done in terms of linking Dash to other software. And then SMS registration. This is what you need to go through to make use of the virtual text feature. This first page is informational. Down here at the bottom, this link here will take you to the support page guide, which is step-by-step. I recommend you read through that carefully. Take your time with it. Start registration. Tells you what you're going to need. Click on the register button and start filling out the form. And then registration status will let you know where you are in the registration process. And that is everything. Take us back here to the dashboard. I thank you for your time today. So we have adjusted our training schedule here. We're going every other week. So I will not be here next week, but I'll be here the next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.